This is Sana'a, capital of North Yemen, or as it's officially called, the Yemen Arab Republic. It's an ancient capital of an ancient land. The old city walls look as solid and secure today as when they were first erected centuries ago. In this obscure part of the Middle East, even the present seems to be a part of history. Until 10 years ago, North Yemen was ruled for 11 centuries by the imams, all-powerful feudal monarchs who were spiritual as well as temporal leaders. This coach was used by the last of them, the Imam al-Badr, deposed in a bloodless coup d'etat in 1962. His palaces in both Sana'a and Taiz are preserved as museums. The imams quite literally had power of life and death over every subject in the land. From this throne they dispensed their own personal justice to petitioners who gathered to air grievances or seek favours. The throne remains, but above it now are photographs of Yemen's new ruler, President of the Republic, Abdul Rahman al-Ghani. Also preserved are these lions, fearsome symbols of the imam's power. Housed in dens below the palace, they were kept for show on ceremonial occasions. The analogy between king of the animals and lord over men wasn't lost on the imam's subjects. The overthrow of al-Badr marked the beginning of a long period of civil unrest in North Yemen. Prince Abdullah bin Hassan, the imam's cousin, rallied royalist supporters in the hills to the north and began a struggle to put al-Badr back on the throne. It was a fight that appealed to the warlike nature of many of Yemen's tribesmen who, even in moments of relaxation, seemed unable and unwilling to forget they were warriors. The civil war between royalists and republicans had repercussions far beyond Yemen's borders and soon became a major cause of tension within the Arab world. Supplies of arms and ammunition for the royalists were sent from Saudi Arabia, whose own King Faisal had no wish to see a hostile anti-monarchist regime established on his doorstep. Camel trains carried the arms through some of the most difficult terrain in the world to royalist encampments in the Yemen hills. Royalist raids in country areas were very successful, and at the height of the war, Prince Abdullah and his men controlled most of the north and almost surrounded Sana'a itself. Ranged against them were 70,000 Egyptian troops hurriedly poured in to bolster up the Republican regime. The royalist forces were only denied ultimate victory by Egyptian fighter bombers. Fighting like this continued for 5 years. Ironically, the royalist offensive petered out largely because Saudi Arabia stopped supplying arms. With the emergence of an even more hostile anti-royalist regime in South Yemen, King Faisal transferred his support to the Republicans in Sana'a. In Sana'a today, there's an air of confidence and relaxation. The Republican regime has now secured much broader popular support by permitting former royalists to return and take up official positions in government and administration. It's also taken in about 300,000 South Yemeni dissidents, many of whom are determined to avenge the slaughter of their brothers. Keeping these hot-tempered tribesmen under control isn't easy. but it will have to be done if there's to be any chance of a lasting peace. The Civil War and the centuries of royal rule that went before it stood in the way of any sensible economic planning. For 20 years before 1970, for example, agricultural production remained at a standstill. Now a start's been made to modernize the country. The bullock will slowly give way to the tractor. Subsistence farming will eventually be replaced by a market economy. Economic aid is flowing in from the United Nations, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. And there's the prospect of more to come from the United States, which established diplomatic relations with North Yemen this year. In contrast to South Yemen, the North has adopted a gradual approach to political and social reforms. Evolution, not revolution, is the watchword in Sana'a, and this has helped to create the climate of stability so vital to large-scale economic investment. North Yemen is still poor. Last year it had to borrow £5 million just to pay its civil servants. But its prospects look better now than they've ever done before. And that's all the more reason why it's in the North's best interests to settle the present conflict with South Yemen as quickly as possible.